don't know if that helps. Okay, yay. All right. All right, well, we'll just go ahead and get started, and hopefully, thanks, Leah, for texting me, Leah Cole, and texting me. All right, so we're going to get started, and we'll just let people kind of hop on, and if you have some team members who you need to remind to be on, feel free to do that, and send them that link that Leah put on here. So I'm so excited. It's my very first Google Hangout and webinar, and so I'm gonna do my best to like not stare at myself, but pretty much what we're gonna be talking about is getting organized. It's the first of 4 weeks for MK University. I'm really excited just to do this. I'm actually gonna turn this into our new consultant training. So if you're not watching this live, I'm excited that you're on the webinar as well. But yeah, we're going to be going through 4 weeks. The first one here starting with just getting organized, not only getting organized with things like your inventory and money management, but also getting organized with like how to get things organized so you can start setting up your bookings. So, so that's what this one here is all about. Now, if you look at the Pink Bootcamp part 2 that is on our unit website, the link there, that is the one that I want to be sure that you also look at and you also listen to. It has 4 audios that are about 5 minutes each, and a little homework fill in the blank sheet to go with it. There's also a fill in the blank sheet to go with this one, and that Pink Bootcamp part 2 is all about how to think about your bookings and how to actually book parties. So because I already have that recording, I'm not going to go over that here today or in the MK University. So be sure you check that out because booking is the lifeline to your business. It's already there for you. It's under new consultant training on our unit website, which is the mkalisondavis.wix.com/Allison Davis. And look under new consultant training, and it's there. It's Pink Bootcamp part 2, and there's the audio. You can just do it on your own time. And if for some reason you can't get that, please let me know, and I'm happy to help you make sure you get on that training. Okay. All right, just check in here. All right, great. And so, by the way, I'm going to kind of check my phone every once in a while. If you and I'll have you guys from now on, instead of on the Davis Divas unit 1, like just box me or text me personally any questions, and then at the end I'll kind of go through the questions too. Okay, so let's get started. If you have the handout, you'll want to pull that up. I sent that through Voxer. It's also on the home page of our unit website, and it is it's for MK University Part 1. So to start, I just want to ask you a few questions because you're either brand new, or maybe you're not new and you want that training, or you want to get back into your business. So would you like? I'm sure most of you are here listening to this. Would you like to move forward with your business, but you're maybe not sure where to start? Would you like to revamp your business, but you feel kind of stuck or maybe unmotivated? Or would you like to become highly skilled so you can get to that next higher level on the career path? Are you a new consultant and you just need to gain some training so you can gain some confidence? So if you're any of those, answering yes to any of those questions, and this is the webinar for you. Sometimes we need to just declutter our brain and make space in order to focus. Some of us are getting ready to get ready, and so that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the person who is like ready right now. Like you want to get that training, you want to get going, you want to get to that next higher level, you want to gain confidence as a new consultant. That's for you. You want to take your business to that next higher level, or you want to revamp your business. So this will help you to know what next steps to take to set yourself up for success. All right, so I'm going to start, before I kind of start through the systems on getting organized, let's start first with the results that you want. So especially for any new consultant, this is how I want you to think. Whether you're new or not, you want to think, what are the results that I want from each and every facial or party or whatever you want to call it, from every appointment that I have. I want to look for 4 things. So all of the training is going to be that we're going to do at MK University is going to be along the lines of how to help you get these results. So you're going into every appointment result oriented. The first one, there's 4 pieces of results. The first one, this goes along with your handout, is you want to sell product. Of course, you want to sell product. Mary Kay says that nothing happens until somebody sells something. So you want to sell product. The goal is $200 in sales or more per party. You want to use the set sheet and preferably use the set sheet. So $200 in sales per party is your goal. Place number 2 that you want to see results is get referrals. Referrals, you want at least 2 sheets of referrals. Number 3 is you want to get new parties booked, preferably 2 parties booked from each party, but at least 1. And the 4th thing you want is you want to get career surveys booked. You want to get at least 2 career surveys booked from every single party. I ask, as you know, we'll get into this more in the training, but I ask everybody to do a career survey. It doesn't matter if they are interested in Mary Kay, if they say anything, or if they don't. Just everybody for my training gets asked and does a career survey with me. And so we'll get into actually how to do that in other sessions of our MK University. So in other sessions, we're actually going to go through, it'll be very important for you to be on it because we'll actually go through point by point what to say to sell using the set sheet. We'll go through how to ask for referrals and how to book referrals specifically. I'll go through exactly what I do. Number 3, we'll go through with new parties booked. I'll talk about how do you talk about booking the next party from the very beginning of your party. And then at the end, how do you book that party? What do you say? And then number 4, we'll go through how to ask the group to do a career survey and why you want to do that. We'll get into team building at the very end of MK University. So those are the results that you're looking for, you're going into your business for. And that will give you what we call working full circle. You're not just working one aspect of the business. You're not just tapping out one part of the income that you can gain as a Mary Kay consultant. You're tapping out all areas of income. You are growing your business. You are networking. You are not leaving any money on the table. Anybody else in favor of that? Like, I don't want to leave money on the table. I want to make sure I'm selling the product, that I'm recruiting, that I'm getting new parties and referrals and networking, so I can continue doing that. So that's called working full circles when you get those 4 results. Okay. So yeah, and by the way, if you're doing a lot of things outside of those 4 areas that I just mentioned, the results, then you're not making money. Okay, so we can do a lot of things outside of that. We can be on the websites a lot. We can make crafty things. We can organize. We can feel like I have to go through all this training first before I could ever do a party. But you know, some of that training that you're going to get is going to be hands-on, just by going out and doing it. And we will equip you with things like this. So if you're doing a lot of things outside of those 4 pieces of results, you're not making money. So we want to stay focused on those. All right, so part 1, going to the next part in your handout. Part 1 is on getting organized. So let's start with getting your inventory organized. Whether you have a little bit of inventory or a lot, you want to get organized. So I have just to kind of go through real quick, this is written out for you. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but I basically have a few organized boxes. I now have a studio that I can like keep everything over here on the shelf. Whenever I would go to people's houses a lot and take things in and out of my car, I basically had 3 organized boxes. You can get things from MK Connections that are really beautiful and very, very helpful. But you can also use like a Tupperware, a big Tupperware that you already had. I used some for my mom's attic. You can even use the boxes that your inventory came in and just take everything out and reorganize it in the actual boxes. You can use like a little tote, whatever you want to do. I basically had one box that was for skincare and foundations, which is the main source of your sales. And then I had another box that was for like body care, like Fat Hands and fragrances and body lotion. And then I also had a tote for makeup. I also have filled roll-up bags, which I'll get to in a little bit. Filled roll-up bags, these are filled, and you can sell products out of the roll-up bag. And so so I had these filled, and preferably like 4 or 5 of them filled so that girls at the party can actually like, maybe like when we go to the set sheets, they each can actually like hold one. I mean, just think if you're someone at the party and you're like, you get to hold this instead of just look at it. That's different, right? So it increases your sales. So I'll go through that in a little bit, what you want to have inside of those pockets. Okay, so kind of go into more detail there in the handout, what you kind of want to have for in those boxes. So I'm going to let you guys just kind of read that. All right, so I'm going to move down in there to money management. So if you guys are on the handout, I'm going to move to money management. So this is the next place where we want to get organized. And I wanted to kind of start with this towards the beginning here because I want you guys to start with good money management. And so the rule that we kind of go by is something called a 60-40 split. A 60-40 split. Basically what that means is that out of every sale, 60% of it's going to go back into your business. Now, as you know, we make a 50% commission. So this is obviously up to you. This is your own business. But out of out of your sales, 60% is going to go back into your business. 50% of that 60 is going to go toward actually getting the product because you get everything at 50% off. So 50% of that sale is going to go into either replenishing the product or into getting the product. And then the other 10% of the 60 is going to go towards business supplies. It's going to go towards, if you need more samples, if you need to get more lookbooks, if you need to go to Target and get cotton balls or cotton rounds. It's going to go towards things like that. So you want to leave a little bit of extra from your sales to go towards business supplies. You can also save it for things like the preferred customer program, for things like Fall Advance and January Jumpstart and Seminar and Career Conference and things like that too. So 60% of your sale is going to go towards your business, and 40% is going to go towards your profit. Okay, so that's going to be your profit. So basically, after every single party, I was just looking at this text. Okay. After every single party, you want to add up your sales tickets, and you simply want to do the math. So all I can do is I can teach you this, and then it's up to you to actually do it. So let's just make an easy number. We're going to say it's $200. Okay, you had in your sales. And so what I would do is I would just personally just multiply that by 0.60. That 120 of the 200 is going to go back into my business. And so that means the other $80, or the 40%, you can take 200 times 0.40, and your $80 is going to go as your profit. All right, so what I would do, going down to the next point, when you go to the bank, know what's your profit and what goes back into the business. So what I'll do is so maybe I had a $200 sale, and then I had a $40 reorder that week, and I had a $30 random website order. Okay, so now I have $270 as my weekly total. I'm going to go to the bank. So I'm going to look and say, take that times 0.60, and $162 is going to stay in my Mary Kay account. So I'm going to put all the cash, all the checks, everything goes into my Mary Kay separate checking account. 162 of that is going to stay in my account. The remainder of that would be the 40%, 112. That I'm going to, before I leave the bank, like while I'm in the parking lot, I actually get on my online banking on my phone, or you can actually take the cash out and just transfer it right there at the bank, or have a teller do it. Have the teller do the math if you want, like hand them all your stuff and be like, can you put 40% of that into my personal checking account? But I usually do it on my online banking in the parking lot, and I transfer the profits right then and there into my personal checking account. So I keep like those 60% for my business, I keep it in my Mary Kay one, and the 40% I transfer into my personal checking account. So that's my profit. So that's how I do, and I started doing that because what I would find is I might get a little bit of cash and some checks, and I might get some credit cards, and so I would be like, oh, I have some extra cash, I'll just keep an extra a 20 here. I'll keep an extra 20 in my ProPay account, in my credit card account, bank, and then I would use that 20 for going out to dinner, and then I would forget that I used that 20, and then it just would mess everything up. Okay, so I did that for a while, and I learned to not do that. So now I just put everything into my my Mary Kay checking account, and then I do the math, and I transfer the 40% profit into my personal checking account like before I even leave. Or again, you can just have the teller do it right there as you go inside. Now there's exceptions when you may do an 80-20 split. So instead of doing 60% goes into the business, 40% your profit, you may do 80% goes into the business and you only take a 20% profit. Maybe you either started with no inventory or a very low amount of inventory and you need to build that. So that might be something that you do. Maybe you're working on wrapping up your stars. So you're like, for this one order, I want to take a profit. I want to feel like good about that, but I'm going to just take 20% profit because I really want most of it to go back into replenishing my stock so I can help to finish my stars. So there's going to be certain things that certain times you definitely do like a different split, but normally it's going to be a 60-40 split. Again, unless you're somebody who really needs to grow your inventory. Also, if you do have a loan or a credit card, out of your 40% profit is what you're using to pay back your credit card, or if you take out your savings or something like that, like you're using that to pay yourself back. Okay, so just again based on that $200, if you had $200 party, your profit of the 60-40 split would be $80. So let's say that you wanted to, you had 4 parties, you could pay, you could take your profit, if you took all your profit, $80 per party, and just 4 parties, you could pay $320 a month on that credit card, and pay that off pretty quickly. So, do the math there too, like how much do you want to pay it off per month, and then it's just, again, up to you then to be very diligent in that. Okay, also with money management, we do have a way to process a credit card. We have something called ProPay, which actually is linked to Mary Kay and is linked to your personal website. And so the convenience of that is very nice. People, if you get ProPay, you're going to pay about $38 a year for it. But people can actually go on your Mary Kay customer website. They can order things and they can put in their credit card and pay for it online. It's very professional for you. The downside is it's like $30 per year. So you could get something like the Square or PayPal, something that's free, that's outside of what we partner with Mary Kay. But if someone orders your website, you just would have to contact them and get their info for their credit card. But the Square is one that's free and really easy to use, and it just deposits their credit card information into your checking account directly. So that's something that you can use as well. You just would have a little less convenience there. So that's what you would want to use if you were processing credit cards. I personally use ProPay, but I have a lot of director friends who've started using PayPal or Square. Okay, so the next point with money management is to be sure that you know what to reorder. So what I do is I just take my sales tickets from my parties, and anything that I sold, I pretty much I'm going to have that next to me when I place my order, so I know exactly what I need to restock. So I'm not just ordering whatever I need to, whatever I didn't have. Like if I have a sales ticket and I had in my inventory 3 of the 4 things, I'm not just ordering the one item that she didn't have. I'm also replenishing the other products. Out of that 50%, out of the 60-40 split, and taking out the 60%, taking the 50%, and replenishing my stock. So that's your mindset. If you have inventory or not, or you have a small one or a big one, is that your goal is not to say, here I started at this level of inventory, and now I want to get down, I want to sell through it all. I hear girls say that I want to sell through all my inventory. And that would be the concept of somebody opening up a Target and being like, we want to stock our shelves, and then we want in a month or 2 there to be nothing on the shelves. No retailer would make any money for very long if that happened. And so the goal is, if you go to Target, and they had your favorite shoes, and then they don't have any your size, and they're like, we're not going to restock them, or take them like 3 weeks to restock it. Like, you're probably going to go somewhere else and find those shoes. And so it's kind of the same concept as Mary Kay. So you want to, your mindset is, I'm going to keep my inventory restocked. So I'm not going to just reorder the things that I need. I'm going to reorder things I need to also replenish. So that's how you think as a businesswoman, as a retailer. Okay, and then the last couple things with money management is for money tracking. I do something so simple. There's a million ways that you could do this, but I started doing this in the past couple of years, and it's just like so easy. And I'm all about easy, especially when it comes to money management. So I have 2 folders. I have one for income, and I have one for expenses. In my income folder, I just stick in there. I take the carbon copy out of my sales ticket. I stick it in that income folder. In the expense folder, I take out my inventory sales slips. I put those in there, and I also, if I have a receipt from Target for getting the cotton balls, I put that in there. If I bought food for my meeting, I use my I put that in like a separate. I pay for my groceries, my regular debit card. I pay for my Mary Kay, bottles of water and dessert or whatever. I pay for that on a separate transaction. You kind of like, sorry everybody, I'm doing 2 transactions, but like I'm doing it. I use my Mary Kay card for that. I take the receipt. I put it in my expenses folder. So that's what I do. And then at the end of the year, or obviously you want to do it like once a month or every quarter, but you just can like add those up. And then during tax season, it's like all right there for you. So I just put them in folders, and that's what I've done, and it's really worked for me. Also, as far as your mileage, you get to count mileage. Anytime you go to the bank to put Mary Kay money into your checking account, that's mileage for you. Anytime you go to a Mary Kay meeting, count that mileage there and back. Anytime you go to a party, obviously. Anytime you're driving to fall advance. Anytime you are going to Target or Walmart, and you're going to get groceries and toilet paper, but you're also getting things for Mary Kay. That trip to Walmart is now a tax deduction. You count that as your mileage. So I just will mark it. What actually the government asks is that if they count is if you have it written into your date book, like trip to Walmart, trip to the bank, then that is something that they would count as for your mileage. So I just end up I'll just put like the person's name, party, so-and-so's party, or meeting at Starbucks with this person for a career survey. And then I'll just put under that, I just put the mileage right underneath, like that girl's party. So I looked it up on my phone. There's also apps that you can download, free apps for car mileage, for direct sales. I know some people also keep in their car like a little mini notebook, and they just, every time they get in the car, they just write it in that notebook. So you kind of have to figure out what works for you, but you do want to track your mileage. Okay, checking out the time here. All right, so let's move on now to packing your bags. And if anybody has any questions, let me know. Okay, so we're going to go on to packing your bags. So when it comes to organizing when you're actually going into your parties, you do not want to look like the bag lady when you come into somebody's house. You don't want to be like way down with all these bags and all this stuff. You want it to look simple. If you need to even make a couple trips to your car, you can do that. But you want to keep it simple. And I try to think of it as, I'm doing this. I'm going to be doing a lot of parties. Like I'm like building a business. I want to make money. I want to have a lot of parties for the long haul. And so I want to keep it simple for me. I don't want to have a ton of stuff and a ton to set up and just like all this that I have to keep track of and make copies of and all this stuff. So I just try to keep it really simple for me, and also because it keeps it simple. It looks simple. So more people will be like, oh, look how easy this is. Like I want to do it too. So with the starter kit, so what I do is I bring in basically 2 bags. The starter kit, the tote currently is very big. So it can fit, as you know, can fit a lot. I basically bring that in, and my travel roll-up, like a tote for the travel roll-up bags, and my purse. And so really, in my starter kit tote, everything I need for the actual party is in there. Um, and so yeah, more about this will be in part 2 and 3 of MK University. But you can see here, the first things I have in there are the Miracle Set products. It lists those. I also have the Dash Out the Door look products, which would be your lip gloss, foundation, primers. I don't always do foundation primer, but some people, that's like a must for them, so that's fine. I bring eyeliner samples and Ultimate Mascara plus the wand. That's the Dash Out the Door look. So I kind of keep them in their own little bags. My Miracle Sets like in a bag, and then my and these mesh bags like this that the mirrors come in. That's what I use. And then the Dash Out the Door look is in that as well. As far as supplies, you can see the next thing is the supplies I bring: mirrors, trays, bag with cotton rounds. Again, I just use bags like this, the extra bag. I bring extra mascara wands, a plastic tray, a few headbands, a plastic bag with the washcloth. I started just using like old Walmart bags or whatever, and I put my or you can use any kind of plastic bag, but I started putting them in there so that whenever they were wet and I was bringing them home, I would take the disposable ones. It just wouldn't get everything wet. I also have a bag with customer profile cards, sales tickets, a calculator, a little case for pens, my party book, like this, which of course comes with, I got the presentation folder at, you can get off Amazon, you can get at an office supply store. So, so I have those, and then I also have the Deal or No Deal. I have these envelopes with the cards inside of them. So basically, an optional, okay, then I also have like a file, I used to have a file folder, now I use just a clipboard, and I have on the clipboard, this is like what I take, these are the things that are like what I need to do my party that are not products. So I have the Deserted Island referral sheet. This is all under education on our new website. I bring with me starter kit forms, my set sheets, which are in pocket protectors, and starter kit flyers, and that's really about it. You could also add in there a flyer of like upcoming events that you can kind of be like, well, I'd love for you to come to my guest event in 2 weeks. We're doing Smoky Eye Night, and then we're doing this, and kind of talk about that at your party and actually have like a visual to show people. I like to do that. Okay, so optional things are the tray inserts, the cute ones from Pink Printing, guest survey that you might give to people, some people like to give to people. All right, and then inside your travel roll-up bag, this is also in the fill in your blank. All right, so you want to bring your travel roll-up bag. This one, you want it to be filled, and it also can you can sell everything out of here. Okay, so in here you have pocket 1 is the Miracle Set, pocket 2 is microdermabrasion and the firming eye cream, so it's part of the Ultimate Miracle Set. Pocket 3 is your Dash Out the Door look, and pocket 4 is your satin lips, and I would add in here also the satin hands set. Take it out of that and put it in here. So basically, I like to have my roll-up bag filled for each person with what they're trying on, like the things that they're trying on that day. Just kind of makes sense to me. All right, and then the individual consultation bag, I'm going to go through this a little bit quickly for time. You can kind of read that money bag, sales tickets, calculator, which I just use my phone, a credit card reader, or you can download the ProPay app or the Square app, extra lookbook, hostess packet. In the hostess packet, you can kind of see what's all in there. At the individual consultation, so one thing that I do for the individual consultation is I keep everything for that actually in my purse. And I keep my purse over by the area where I'm going to do the individual consultation. So, so that way it's kind of like separate, and I just like to keep it in my purse. That's just what I do. So that would look like having the money bag, the sales tickets, again, the calculator, your phone, the credit card reader, the hostess packet. And then I also, for the individual consultation, at the individual consultations, you kind of want some things, some social media things. So, because I will text her right then and there when I book her career survey, I will actually text her right there while she's sitting with me. I'll be like, what's your phone number? and I text her Leah's YouTube video. So you want to keep it, you know, in your notes. You want to keep her YouTube link there in your notes. So you can just like copy and paste it, or just like an entire like text message. It just says like, thanks so much for doing the career survey at this day, at this time. Here's the video. Be sure you watch it and write down 3 to 5 questions before we talk. So, and again, we'll kind of go through that later, but that's basically what you want to have, like that text. You can just kind of copy and paste it to people. Also, the individual consultation. I like to have, I will also, later that night or the next day, I will make her a pic collage. And I use the app. You can use a lot of different apps. Like, it does not have to be Pic Collage, but that's just the one that I personally use. And I just keep it like all the time. I don't know if you can even see that. I don't think you can. Okay, sorry. But I just keep it on my phone, and I can go back into Pic Collage and just change the date and the time and the location. And so it just always kind of looks the same. And then it just changes things, and then I just can text it to her, and that's what I tell her that she can send to her friends. So I send that to her like the next day, and I use that Pic Collage app. And for any of these appointments, I let her know. I'll remind her the next day. I usually have a career survey booked again with like everybody anyway. So at that time, I'll tell her, you know, hey, when we talk, you know, tomorrow, for your career survey, I'll also coach you. We'll go over like things for your party, and we'll talk about that too. So I use that time just to coach her for her party if she's holding one. She's coming to a guest event. I'll also use that time to coach her for the guest event as well. Okay, and then each week, and this stuff can all be delegated. You want to reorganize your inventory. You want to clean your mirrors and brushes. You want to reorganize your bags, you know, clean them out or whatever, get them all nice and neat. Restock any sheets, copies that you need, and refill roll-up bags as needed. So I suggest just having, I know some people do like, they say like Financial Friday or Money Monday, and they just like kind of do something, think of something cute, they make a habit of just like, that's when they go to the bank, that's when they reorganize. And once you kind of have it set up, the reorganizing it goes pretty fast. All right, so that is part 1 with getting organized. If anybody has any questions, you can text me. All right, part 2, we're going to move on here to getting organized for booking calls. All right, so again, Teen Boot Camp part 2 is going to go over how to actually make the calls, all that kind of stuff. This is more about how to get organized for the calls, because I think sometimes we miss the booking calls because we don't have a reason why. We don't have a goal. So one key to making booking calls is going to be to correlate your bookings to a goal. Correlate your bookings to a goal, because that will give you a reason why. And it's usually like something outside of even Mary Kay. It's like, I want to feel proud of myself. I want my husband to feel proud of myself. I want to have financial freedom, and I don't want that pressure of finances on me anymore. I want to help enrich women's lives. I really, truly want to like pour into women's lives. So it's something usually outside of even like the career path or something with Mary Kay. It's like, what can that give you? But then I'm just like, I want to take my kids on a Disney trip, or even something like that. So correlate your bookings to a goal. And then the second thing is that consistency is the key. The more often you make the calls, the more things fall into place. If you make calls for just 1 or 2 hours, 1 time a week, you're really slimming down your chances of any real win for yourself. Your chances of catching people when you call 1 time is very slim. Your chance of catching people are busy, so your chances of catching people if you call them 1 time, once a week, is very slim. So your chances of everyone who does answer being able to even talk, that's slim as well. So the more often that you call, the more your odds go up for results. So we want to work the odds. We want to work the averages. And so the more often that you call and the longer you call, the more your odds go up for your results, which is what we want. So our national sales director, Leah Laughlin, she taught us that one party a week equals minimum Gen X, forever a senior consultant. 2 parties a week equals Gen X, maybe elite, forever in red. 3 parties a week equals movement, momentum, team leader, and up on the career path. 4 parties a week equals DIQ and top director. And she challenged us to just try it and see what happens. All right. With that said, here's my system for preparing and doing booking calls. So number 1, plan it into your week. I pre-plan it. I have a set-aside day to make booking calls. I look at how many bookings I want and choose to have to get me to that goal and to the next higher level. And then I plan in more days if I need to. So in other words, I pre-plan it and I look at what's my goal, and if I want to get like 10 faces in this week, then I make sure I plan and make calls until I reach it. I don't just say, I'm going to see what happens. I plan it and I make the calls until, like, if I want to party on Saturday, I'm going to make the calls until I have at least 2 or 3 parties booked on Saturday, because I know that 1 or 2 might cancel. So I'm just going to like book until I reach that goal. A couple of things that I will tell myself is that it's better to be done than to be done perfectly. So it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to have this perfect hour set aside. Sometimes I only have an extra 15 minutes and I'll make the calls. I have a plan every single day when I'm waiting in line to pick up Josiah from school. I have about a 15-20 minute wait, and I have a plan every single time of what I'm going to do on the phone while I'm in that line. So that might be like a pocket time that I use, and that you could use something like that. Another tip is to mark your date book and have integrity. So keep the date with yourself. Mark your date book. You're your own boss. Schedule that date and keep the date with yourself. Ask yourself, what do I really want? And then ask, what do I want? And then ask, what do I really, really want? Like, do I really want my goal? And then allow that to motivate you. Another tip is to replace the thought of, I have to make this call. I should make these calls. I must make these calls. Replace like that thought, which lead to feeling tired and rebellious or guilty, and replace it with, I want to make these calls. Even if you aren't feeling it, tell yourself that. Like, I want to make these calls. I get to make these calls, and I choose to make these calls because I choose to work my business and to move my business forward. And I choose to do this, and I have the opportunity to do so much for my family and so much for my future. So I get to make these calls because I get to be in control of my future. So I love saying this kind of things to myself. And that leads to energy, embracing the activity, and it leads to action, freedom, and recommitment to your work. I also really highly recommend using the bubble sheet, which is on our unit website. The bubble sheet you fill in, and it just marks your booking attempts. So you can feel like you win. Even if somebody doesn't answer, you get to like check off a box. So it makes you feel like you win. The directions are on the top of the bubble sheet. I also have a YouTube video on that too. And then also use a weekly plan sheet so that you can pre-plan and you can know when to work. All right, number 2 with booking, preparing for bookings, is to have a fresh contact list of 30 plus women and to have the list all in one place. So I list below here like some different places where I might find people. There's always new people. There's always new people. Like, there just always is. It might be 1 or 2, but every month you are meeting somehow. There's somebody new that you're meeting. There's a mutual friend, or there's an acquaintance, and there's somebody that God's bringing into your path that you absolutely could always have new people. Maybe not a lot, maybe not a ton, but there's always somebody new that you can book with. All right. And then the bottom of number 2 here, list on paper or your tablet or your notebook, have the list like all in one place, along with a booking script. So I keep like the contact list along with the booking script. And then also the Deserted Island referral game sheet, like the ones that are filled out, I keep that from the parties. I keep that along with the referral booking script. I keep that together as well. So those two things are like all in like one. I keep them in a file folder. All right, number 3, kind of wrapping this up. I'm going over the time here. Number 3 is I have a booking notebook. If you can either use something that Pam Shaw sells on her website, pamwillshaw.com, called the Design Your Life book, or you can just use a plain old spiral notebook. And basically what this is for is to keep track of who to call and email daily. And I have on the top of on my spiral notebook each date. So one page says today, the next turn the page, next page says the next day. And I basically keep my 6 most important things to do list. And then if I also need to call somebody or email somebody, I put them down that day. If I call them that day and they say, hey, I'm not actually able to talk right now, call me tomorrow, then I can just flip the sheet, flip the page on the spiral notebook and write them down the next day. And then I remember to call them. So that's just my system. I also will mark the date in my notebook that I can have parties. So I know when I can double book, or I know when I can have parties. And so whenever I'm booking, I'm able to give people specific dates. So if they say, I say weekend or weekday, and they're like, a weekend is better. Like I can look at my full month calendar and I can say like, well, I'm actually open this Saturday, not next Saturday, but the following one. So I could do like this date or this date. Either one of those work for you. So I already have those marked out in my date book. All right, number 4, for getting organized with booking is simply to sit down to book at your pre-planned time. So you can kind of read through that. The tools that I have. One of my best tips sometimes is just to like get out of your house or do something fun, like go to Starbucks or go to a local coffee shop or something to like get yourself a treat. You kind of look forward to making that call because you're going to get your latte or something. So pick out from there, like, or like when I finish these calls, I'm going to get to do blank. Like sometimes I'll like have that day planned, I'm going to go to the mall. And so I will just be like, as soon as I make these calls, I get to go to the mall. I get to go on a fun outing or something. Okay, so moving on to before I call, these are the 4 things that I do. I believe this is your fill in the blank. Number 1, I reread my script. Number 2, I tell myself positive. I remind myself of my goal. And then I just start. I know that the very first calls are the hardest. So once I make myself start at the top of the list, and I go to the second one, I go to the third one, and I don't think, I just call and I use the script because they work. And I know I keep myself focused too on the end result. I know once I have the bookings, I'm going to feel really excited. I'm going to feel very proud of myself. And so I just remember that. Like, I'm going to feel so powerful. I'm going to feel so good when I'm done. So like just dial that first number. Just like move the finger and press send. Like seriously, that's what I'll tell myself. Like just press send. All right. Third tip is when the phone is ringing, if I'm making a call, when the phone is ringing, I repeat her name in my head, and I'm looking at the script, ready for her to answer. I find my mind wandering. So I just say her name over and over, looking at the script, I'm ready for her to answer. If I do get a voicemail, I either don't leave a message or I just leave a message. If I know her, I'll leave a message, hey, I'll call you back. I have something to ask you real quick. Call me back or I'll call you back tomorrow. But I don't ask her to have a party on the voicemail. Okay, don't do that. After she books, point 4, after she books, my next step, number 1, I pencil it into my date book. You can kind of read through those. Those aren't fill in the blanks, are they? They are. Let me know. I'll go back to that. All right, part 3 is after the parties is real quick. I put the customer profiles and sales tickets as I'm leaving their house. I put them into my purse. Easy access when I get home. I just started doing that. So yeah, checks, cash, everything, customer profiles, the sales tickets, they just go in my purse. My Mary Kay stuff can go wherever I have that designated, but I can take my purse and take it into the house. And the bags go in my office wherever, the wash cloth goes by the wash machine, the customer profiles and the sales tickets go by the computer, out of my purse onto the computer. And they will be filed and done whenever I have that designated. So that is what I do after the party. All right. So last but not least is your homework. Homework for part 1, you can see it's to reorganize your inventory, count it, actually count it, and send the total to me. Because every year at tax season, we count our inventory. I'm always surprised. Like one year as a director, I counted up my inventory and I had like 2,400, 2,600 wholesale inventory. And that is not enough, like for a director over somebody who is wanting to like really have a lot of parties. Like I was feeling it, you know. So you're kind of surprised sometimes, like how much you have or don't have. Most people have like less than what they even think. Um, all right, and then also get the needed sheets print off if you don't already. The needed apps downloaded. I have them down here. And Leah's YouTube Boxer YouTube link video link saved. And then also, what products do you need for yourself? Are you using a Mary Kay skincare line? So fill in the success equals what you love sheet. I will be putting that also on our unit website homepage. I can email it to you too. And then homework for part 2 is to use a bubble sheet this week, take a picture of it and send it to me, and make a booking notebook with printed out scripts. So basically, just for your homework, just check off that you did it and take a picture of this and send it to me. Also send me your bubble sheet. So just you don't have to show me like all this stuff. Just check it off the list that you've done it and take a picture of it and send it to me. And when you turn in your homework to me by Wednesday at noon Eastern time, all 4 weeks you get a prize. So, all right, any questions? I went over a lot. Okay. Okay. Any questions? All right, thanks, girls. I hope this is helpful. I went over a lot of things, which is why I have the handout. You can kind of review it, process, go through your homework, get yourself organized, and then next week will be same time, 8:30 is going to be our MK University Part 2. And so we're going to actually, next week, we're going to start at the top of the party, and I'm going to teach you how to actually do that party. And we'll probably split it out into two sections. And then the last one will be on team building. So you want to make sure you're at all 4 MK universities. So, all right, thanks, girls. Have a great day. Have a great night.